I recommend you get a copy of my book, From Rage to Responsibility. I write about how the spirit of anger was taken away from me 29 years ago. I forgave my mother who tried to turn me away from my father, and I returned to my father, and through him, my father on earth, and through him, I was able to return to God. No man or woman can return to God unless you go through the Son. And men are sons of God. There may be weak, pathetic examples of it, but it's the spiritual order of life. God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, and woman over children. So get From Rage to Responsibility. I write about that. Go to my website, rebuildingtheman.com for an autographed copy, or call 800-411-BOND. And donate to my nonprofit, Bond, the Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. We are rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer.
I know some people have called in and they wonder if the silent prayer is working. And I just want to take a second and to tell them that it works. You just have to stick with it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I started doing before I even forgave my parents. And I was so depressed and suicidal at some times that I just would have to stop in the middle of my job or whatever I was doing and go into the silent prayer. And it really does help. Like, I don't have those anymore.
Amazing. You haven't seen anything yet. Doubt every thought. Bring every thought into captivity. Just let them all pass. Don't judge them. You haven't seen anything. It gets better and better and better and easier, easier, easier. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Thursday. It's a pleasure to have you back here. It's a pleasure to be back with all of you today on the last day of White History Month. So happy White History Month. Last day, July just feels white. You know how it is. Appreciate you all coming into the chat here. We got a bit of a show for you today, okay? Got a little bit to get into. And, you know, apologies for the confusion. You want to see the Jesse Lee Peterson man on the street. Don't worry, you will be watching it after this show at 1 p.m. Pacific time, scheduled on the Jesse Lee Peterson YouTube channel, okay? It's scheduled right now, so you could go leave a comment, do your thing. But before you do that, leave a like here. And we got a bit of a show, so welcome, everybody. I want to also mention, for the viewers who are here with me today and are aware of punchy.tv, where I am live, I got the uncensored version of today's Man on the Street with the music I wanted to use, and I'll play that on punchy.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson. Okay, so if you want to see the uncensored version, go to punchy.tv/JLP, actually, apologies. Punchy.tv/JLP for the uncensored version at the same time that it premieres on the YouTube channel. Okay, so it's fun. It's some good footage, and it'll be good. You'll like it. Welcome to the show, though. We got a bit of a show, like I said. 888-775-3773 is the number. You want to call in, talk about this or that. Let's see what else here, though. July just feels white. 888-775-3773. And welcome, everybody, on YouTube, on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby and punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. We'll get to all the super chatters, everybody, okay? Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Now, what else? Yeah, I made the intros in a ridge. It's a little bit of a easy little ditty. What? Pause. Okay, welcome to the show. I want to get into a couple of things. Kind of have some fun here. Because this Good Jeans ad is it's on the news and the internet is mad, they'll say. But it's somewhat funny. I mean, there's Sydney Sweeney, they call it Nazi ad. It's like, that's like they're promoting eugenics. So that's the first thing I want to get into here. Hold on. Everything's going well here, right? Yes. We're live. We're going. There was some funny things about this. And something a little obvious, too. I mean, it's marketing, okay? It's marketing, folks. It's marketing. I don't know if we can... What's the point in trying to make a grander claim? Well, there's maybe something to be said about cultural impact and what people are thinking. There's some things we can maybe arrive to. We'll get to that. But Sydney Sweeney, she's some actress, right? She's around. I've seen her around. I don't know what in, but whatever. She's wearing these jeans for American Eagle Outfitters. And it's controversial. She's like, I have good jeans. I have good jeans. I'm blonde. She doesn't say that. But something about her parents. I think there's a couple of these ads. And they basically are play around with the same messaging of good genes. You know, I mean, it's pretty on the nose. I don't think there's any what's the word here, like mystery to this. No, I mean, good genes. My parents made me a certain way, and I have good genes from American Eagle. Is there really a lot of mystery there? Like, oh, how are they really? Wait, what are they saying here? What are they saying here?
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring.
I mean, she says genes are passed down like genes, right? Like genes are. I mean, you get that, obviously.
Often determining traits like.
It's just I see the public and they're like, "But what do they mean? But what are they saying?" I think Hake was trying to educate his audience, and those that are listening were probably educated. Something about what does implication mean versus something else? Whatever. I wasn't listening, but whatever they're doing here, I don't think it's very mysterious.
Hair color, personality, and even eye color. My jeans are blue.
Sydney Sweeney has her jeans.
American Eagle. And it's just a big deal, right? Not really. It's one of those things that we just get to talk about a little bit here. Now, American Eagle, I've seen them around, of course, in the malls and stuff. You know, I had to type some stuff in. I'm like, okay, AI, we're always careful with the AI. Tell me about American Eagle. Tell me a little bit about American Eagle. American Eagle Outfitters brand was founded in 1977 by brothers. Hold on. I'll tabbed. Jerry and Mark Silverman, who were then running their family retail business, Silverman's Menswear. They launched the company as a subsidiary under what was later called Retail Ventures Incorporated. That's Wikipedia. And this going back to 1977, menswear. You know, I was just learning about how it was maybe 50 years before that. Most men, their clothing was made at home. Something like 1930s, maybe even before that. That I was reading something about men, their clothing was made at home, like their wife made it or something. And then ready-made clothing was invented. And the clothing, making clothes went from like the home to the factory. Something like that. But anyways, they're doing all this, American Eagle Outfitters. Where was I here? They're these founders, and I wanted to mention, right, so yeah, Silverman. And so I asked ChatGPT an innocuous question. They so they're Jewish, and ChatGPT says, yes, Jerry and Mark Silverman, the founders of American Eagle Outfitters, are Jewish. The Silverman family, I had heard something like that. Now, I don't know if the person who made this ad is Jewish, because I wanted to maybe almost, I just said something on the JLP show. I had heard that a Jewish man made the ad. Now, I don't know about that, but this is what I had heard, that the American Eagle Outfitters has this history with this Jewish family, sold it to the Schottenstein family. And I remember bringing that up on the JLP show thinking, that is so genius. Don't you think? That's just duh. If you want to if you wanted to be successful in marketing, like, you gotta be thinking. And obviously, these genius Jewish high verbal IQ, I've heard that about them or something like that. It's like genius, like a number of ways. Because first, you can gather that there is a large unsaid, whether positive or negative, there's energy there to tap into concerning this topic. I mean, that should be somewhat obvious, but people don't really think about these things. And it's just maybe not a thing that's well thought of, but if you're just aware, if you're just paying attention, of course this ad would hit this way. You understand? That's just genius marketing. And I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater on genius marketing. What can I say? I'm not a hater. I know people are like, the changing of the times is something's happening here. And there's maybe something to be said about advertisers, I don't know, wanting to please markets. But I don't think it's always just that. I mean, it's just marketing. It's just marketing. Is it? How do you pull triggers? How do you press buttons? And I think they're not taking, I don't know if Sydney or whoever, they're taking that seriously. But the world definitely is. It seems like people are quite mad. Definitely black people on the internet. And I don't know if that's a good view of everything, but I get that a lot. And it's not just black people, but this is just one video, right? She's like a famous lady. I know her a little bit. Doja Cat. I think Doja means weed or something like that. But she's a pretty lady, no? Ignore this angle. She's a pretty lady, no? There's no reason to be mad. What's going on here? I play this little clip to summarize kind of a lot of the clips I've seen and general sentiments.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Blue. Isn't anger such an ugly look? No? That's an ugly look, Doja Cat. It's an ugly look. Just by itself, don't you think? Just on his face, like, you could be a pretty lady. But now you're showing so much. And the outside is cracked. Doesn't match the inside. People can kind of see that. It's an ugly look. And you know what else? It's inferior. I mean, think about it like this. Only inferior thinking, ugly, inferior, I don't know how else to put it. People who see themselves as this. Because you have to be something, you have to see yourself like that. You have to believe it. It's really a personal thing. And so when you act that way as a person that is that way, it's because you see it, you believe it, you feel it, and you're really just seeing someone's world. You're really just seeing her being very ugly. Like, it's very, only an inferior person would say that. Like, oh, would look at that ad and think any of these things like, oh, I'm going to have to do this like honky voice and be like, oh, my blue jeans are superior. Like, trying to make fun of the whole thing, taking it quite personal. You're very
often determined.
You're revealing a lot about yourself. Sorry. It's quite inferior. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. Don't you think? They are showing themselves, showing their inside. You know, you get it. Good genes. Thought it was a little silly. You know, I was watching some stuff about this, though. And I've come across this Associated Press clip on the, just kind of reporting on this. It's just like these general images and someone talking, but there was one part that was kind of funny. You know, it had me turning my head like, you know, wait, hold up. Is that true? Now, what do we got here? Come on, Associated Press. We muted here. Bada bing, here we go.
U.S. fashion retailer American Eagle's ad campaign with 27-year-old actress Sydney Sweeney has sparked a debate about Western beauty standards and, quote, woke American culture. The campaign, launched last week, features the tagline, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Most of the negative reception focused on the word genes related to genetics instead of genes related to denim when discussing the blonde-haired, blue-eyed actor. Some critics saw the wordplay as a nod to eugenics, a discredited theory that humanity could be improved through selective breeding for certain traits. The idea gained popularity in the early 20th century, and Nazi Germany embraced it to carry out Adolf Hitler's racist belief in an Aryan master race. Others on social media say people are reading too much into the campaign's message. Bro. Conservatives like U.S. Senator Ted Cruz and former Fox News host Megyn Kelly celebrated the ads and taunted the critics. In a news release about the ad campaign, the company noted, quote, Sweeney's girl-next-door charm and main character energy, paired with her ability to not take herself too seriously, is the hallmark of this bold, playful campaign.
I could think of maybe two reasons that are the center to this bold campaign. Okay, we're messing around. I believe in that statement. I get that impression of Sydney. You're not taking it too seriously. We're playing with the good genes. You got to be kind of not taking it too seriously to do that, right? But where was I here? Look, let me pull that up. Eugenics is a discredited theory. I was just watching it a little bit, like, and I couldn't help but have to like just do this thing where I'm like, but put it like this, right? And I guess I end up sounding like in my head and maybe out loud once I say it, like someone who supports eugenics. Like, no, I don't even know what that all means. And apparently has a history with Germany but you know, in my mind, it's select. She says this discredited theory for selecting for genes, like selecting for things to make people stronger. I'm like, hold on, wait. Let's not like start getting ridiculous here. Don't we believe in some basic things here? Like even just general people today who don't, you know, like let's not even get to God. Like just general people. You guys believe in the scientific theory, evolution, and I'm not saying I know, but are we gonna get ridiculous here? Like breeding for traits. Like if we're gonna, let me talk to a dog breeder all of a sudden, and if I'm talking to a dog breeder and I start asking them like, hey, how come you're not mixing your Cocker Spaniel, this dog bred for hunting birds? It's like in them. We used to have Cocker Spaniels growing up. I had one growing up in particular. I've seen this genetic trait activate. You know, a bird in a bush. My little the little family dog, Cocker Spaniel, put his paw forward and got into this position I had never seen him do before. Looking at the bird. And then the bird moved, he went nuts, and then had the bird on its wings like this. It was crazy. Anyways, I'm talking to a dog breeder. Imagine I'm talking to a dog breeder and I say, why won't you mix that Cocker Spaniel with something else? Well, we're trying to keep certain traits. So, you know, Is that discredited in any way? Let's consider marriage for a moment here. Just general marriage. Just like your good old Christian marriage that's, been around in the West for, a couple hundred years maybe? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think women and men have been allowed to choose who they marry for some time now. To some degree. Tell me where I'm wrong here, but that's a form of picking traits, no? Huh. Discredited theory. You discredited theory of selecting for traits. I just don't know. I can't help but just think other things here, okay, folks? But, yeah, there's a history to it. Is that true? Eugenics in Nazi Germany? I mean, that sounds a little ridiculous, right? People have been, breeding animals for, I'm sure, well before Nazi Germany, and having families well before Nazi Germany. It just sounds a little, but okay, they're probably talking about something else, right? That I'm just not aware of. Like scientists saying this or that. So that's how these things go. So I just found it a little funny. Now, I don't watch this guy. Look, I think I get this. I gather he's just like a liberal. Like I'm talking about Stephen Colbert. Not trying to poo-poo him too much. He has like this audience, right? Like people watch him. Like the point is this is what I know about him. Some liberal on TV, he's saying it's cool. He's saying, why are y'all overreacting? And I'm like, wait, hold up. So you got Stephen Colbert, you got Ted Cruz, and they're like, guys, chill out. It's not a Nazi ad. There may be something to gather about the media and their relationship with America, and what they want to do going forward. I don't know. But there's definitely an awareness of the anti-whiteness, to summarize, on this last fine day of White History Month. Now, New York Post, man, you're freezing up my computer. I don't know why you're doing that. We're going to X out of you. But I was trying to show you the Stephen Colbert guy. But also Ted Cruz. So you're getting a bit of a couple of wings here. You get it? You're getting like a widespread of ideology, saying that it's cool, tipping their hat, giving a nod to maybe white America. Hold up, Sydney Sweeney, we're doing a live show here. Jesus, sorry, folks. She was barely wearing clothing, and it's 11:20 in the morning. But anyways, happy White History Month and all that, I guess. Concerning all this, good genes. Why be mad? It's an ugly look, and that's what lower people do anyways. So, anyways, good genes, race, and all that is a little bit of a topic sort of here to thematically swing over to Joey Swoll. Okay, I heard a little bit of this. I was going to talk about Joey too. I found his little apology. I found his apology, and this whole thing was Joey Swoll. He's a fitness influencer guy. I've seen him around over the years. And he's apologizing over liking Hulk Hogan. Doing this post, shouting out Hulk Hogan. He died. And yeah, so I found a couple aspects interesting. If we could do this here briefly, because I found the exact same Mike Tyson clip, but look, Joey Swoll, he apologized, and he's Swoll, okay? I mean, that's fair to say. Is that really his last name? Fitness guy. You may have seen him around when he's like trying to bring that positivity to the gym world, and people are all negative. Some girl will put up her phone. Someone will walk through. She'll be like, why are you walking through my shot? Joey Swoll gets on him. Pretty much 100% of the time. You can't get away. You post some video of you doing something dumb at that gym. And not just dumb, just rude. Just like not the Joey Swoll way. He's on you. He's making a video about it. He's telling you to chill. Maybe that's maybe had some impact. Okay, I'm seeing like good-hearted. What's the word? Good-natured gymfluencers. They'll set up their camera and someone will walk through and they'll make it a big deal. Like they'll make it a big note. Like, hey, no, walk through. It's all good. No. You could be in the video. Someone next to them. No, you could be. That's all good. So Joey Swoll's spirit lives on, right? And that's just the videos I've seen. If you recognize who I'm talking about, just giving motivation to people. And so he's apologizing. Let me just show you some of this, I guess. You know, the clip was good. We saw it on the JLP show, but we got some time here. And I don't know, he's just getting a lot of mess over this Hulk Hogan post. I notice he's getting actually hate from both sides here. No one likes, like, especially in a man, being weak, being whatever, you can't please everybody kind of thing. But he's apologized. So what did he do wrong? So he basically started researching Hulk Hogan. You know, that's so evil too. I had like a research too, right? I'm seeing people. I saw his post. He said, I researched him. I'm like, what? What could you research about someone? You have to be maybe a easily swayed person, right? It's like, oh, let me get it to research someone I love. Now let me hate them. Do you even know them? Do you even talk to them? What do you know? But he did some research. So I'm like, what are people mad about? He said something not nice. Okay, he said the N word apparently, and didn't like his daughter maybe messing around. The idea of his daughter messing around with a black man. Okay, I think there was some more color to that, like something about an NBA player or something like that. So it sounded like Hulk Hogan wasn't even that discriminatory. Okay, if he's a successful NBA player, it's like, come on. He's definitely thinking about it. He's not just a rabid racist, whatever that is. But he is apologizing for supporting a racist. How dare you? And not only that, he said colored, and that was big time wrong.
You know, my whole page, I owe my followers, my community, and all of social media an apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids that we grew up with, that made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers. I didn't know
about Hulk.
The extent of all the horrible things that he had done. Since last night, I have done a lot of research, talked to a few people, and learned all of the horrible, horrible things that man has done, which is way more than just making a mistake and being human.
Is there any more instance than like, oh, the horrible things? I mean, let's call it first. Let's start with the first horrible thing. Let's research a man to see if to find if we should judge him or not. And then going from there, it's like, what are all the horrible things? I mean, the racist thing, and then he got kicked out of some Hall of Fame over that. It leaked in some tape. And then maybe some other things. Family drama. Look, I can't find anything besides this major point of the racist thing. And that was like an instance. So, I don't know. Just, look, I won't pause this video too much, but where was I? All the horrible things. And he said, it's not just an instance of doing a horrible human thing. Everything's a horrible human thing. Every murder, all of it is just a little human thing. You know, anybody could get there. It's a matter of what path you're on, how you're being influenced. You can kind of see it from a bird's eye view. You could describe it, you know.
So because of that, I have taken the videos down, and I apologize to anybody that I offended. I am sorry. Also, during last night's live stream, I used the word colored instead of saying person of color, which is a very outdated, very offensive term. A few moments later, somebody educated me and told me that it wasn't okay to use that, which I immediately apologized to everyone and said I would never do that again. So once again, to anybody that I offended, I am sorry. You know, my whole page, my whole brand is based on holding people accountable and doing better. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standards. I am human, I am still growing, I am still learning, and I promise all of you, I will do better. I have nothing but love and kindness in my heart. I will continue to try to make the world a better place. And once again, to everybody, I apologize.
You know, I don't know much about him, but I don't get the impression that he's this like political guy. I don't get this impression that he's just a normie guy, like a normie, maybe even liberal kind of guy. And, you know, you could be like a Republican and be pretty liberal. You could be a Trump voter and be pretty liberal, you know? But, you know, that's just the impression I get. So when you put it like that, it's like, okay, well, all I'm trying to say here is there may be a sincerity here in that I really don't want to offend these people. I really don't. This is how I would operate. Should I be in a room, no camera with people? I get that impression because he's still not political, normie in that way, that he would operate, that there's a sincerity to this, even if it's misguided because you're trying to please people. You're trying to please people. And you're also, you're just not even aware, man. You're not even aware. You're peddling in words. You're peddling in these like social these social nukes, the social engineering words. You're peddling in these words that you don't even understand. They were placed like colored people, colored, and then you have to evolve, and then you have to say it this way. That whole shebang is a brainwashing thing. So we can not judge Joey on that, but that's just what it is. If you for a little education for you, if you want, well, I guess education would give you would cite some events in here, but I'm giving you a general view here of the point of these words, colored, POC. It's to unite, it's to group, it's to group people. And you group people, what do you get? You get populations, you get a number of things, but you do get a false strength, a false power, a worldly power. You can inflict that, okay? And that's what it is. You can gather these people under this umbrella term POC and gather them against what? Against who? Why? Against America, against order, established order. Those things are closely tied, and so that's why it looks and becomes like this racial thing. And I will get to calls here. Thank you, 888-775-3773. Joey Swoll, we're almost done with him. That's the impression I get about him. You know, and this one too. You saw it. I don't know if this was on the JLP show, but it was posts like this, and a lot of people in his comments and stuff, it was blacks too. I mean, this is a black person, I think. The most electrified. I've seen him around. But they're just big time piling on this racist thing. Joey Swoll, when a female fitness influencer doesn't say, excuse me, and he's like, oh yeah, that's him being all tough. Joey Swoll, when his idol is a racist, and he's just laughing, he's grinning. Why aren't you being tough against this racist? It's really warped mindset here, but I'm showing this to you to kind of show what maybe kind of was the spear that got through to Joey, right? They're trying to paint him as a misogynist now. I saw the post like that. Oh, so this guy is just always talking about women and telling them to chill in the gym, acting entitled in the gym. But the moment it's a racist, he's like, I don't know what got to Joey, but it was definitely nothing good. Evil, but I'm also showing this to just paint this picture. I mean, think about it. Who's going to get better in life? The person who's just like mad? It's really basic, right? It's really almost like school ground, But these images kind of help order me a little bit. Like you're just mad. You're just kind of looking around like, why are you pretty? Why are you doing the good genes? Why are you doing that? Why do you guys have a better marriage rate? Why do you? Or the person who's like, wow, okay, even if terrible things happen to me, even if this or that happens, I'm just gonna do what I can, right? Let it happen. Anyways, look. So I'm saying these mad blacks aren't gonna get better. That's just like, of course don't you see that? Don't you see the path there? It's obviously a terrible life. Let at least that be a little bit of a lesson to watch something in you. And then I found this funny. He's getting it from both sides here, right? Because not only is he right now he's a racist, and so those people hate him, but now he's also weak and caving into the woke mob and just a loser, right? So they're writing paragraphs about him, right? You get it? Johnny St. Pete, the blacks and the whites. It's funny how that is. I know that it's not that way. I'm sure there are many other races thinking like Johnny St. Pete and many other races thinking like the most electrified here. But that is kind of funny too. Joey Swoll has officially peaked. This is embarrassing on so many levels. Blah, 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 blah. And some of that might be true. But I found that just somewhat funny. The public crucified him. And there's something about it that is blind. Something about that's blind. They're not seeing in themselves. And then there's also something right about this, and yet, a deep mistake that I think everybody can relate to, that I bet you everyone in the world is doing, even when you think you're not, until you totally are not. And I guess you'll know it when you're not. And what I'm talking about is Joey Swoll's final message. What is this? I don't know what this is, but he says that he's done. Joey Swoll is done. He says, all the good I've done, all the people I've helped, all for nothing. I truly hope all the people I've inspired to do great things in their life pay it forward to help others and carry on my message. But no matter how much good you do, people just wait for a reason to hate you and tear you down. You either die here or live long enough to be the villain. Thank you for your support. I am done. So he's right about that. He's describing love. Or the false love that people claim and teach about and the world tells you about. It's flimsy. It turns to hate quick because it's what it was from the beginning. But there's something right. There's something that he's making a mistake about here. I think you can gather it if you're paying attention just a little bit. Because who hasn't been, like, have you been here, folks? I mean, he's here doing this things where he thinks he's great. He thinks he's doing this, inspiring people. He wants to do all that. Maybe he is. But should he be doing that, you'd know that that's just a few. That's just a few. Carry on you think everybody's going to carry on the message? That's the point, right? Those who hear it, that's it. And then there's nothing else. If you think about literally anything else, then you don't care about inspiring or the message, and that's fine. It's not just Joey. No matter how much good you do, he says, you either die a hero. It's just that I am done. Maybe I'm judging it, but it says, you're making a mistake here. You know that you're approaching this wrong when you let the world when you let the world kind of affect you in that way to the point where you say, I'm done. What is it that you think you were doing? It's just a tiny little thing, you're just making videos. And maybe somebody gets some help, like, you're not that big. You're just kind of big physically. But whatever, look. I was just thinking about Joey Swoll a bit. I thought that was pretty deep, his message here. I'm done and all that. Like, that's everybody who has a plan and expectation of the world and wants to save the world and help them. I think, I don't know, I've met people who kind of get this a little better, and they don't necessarily want to help the world. Just passing on something true that they have seen. It's just true. It's just merely true. And just saying it, passing it along. So anyways, Joey Swoll, interesting little thing here. I want to get to calls, 888-775-3773. It's a beautiful White History Month. Let me put up the number on the screen. Whoa. Showing behind the scenes. Careful. All right, folks. Appreciate it. 888-775-3773. We got Christopher out of Florida. Thanks for your call. You're on the air.
Oh, happy White History Month, Nick.
Yes, sir.
And everybody.
Thank
Everybody
you for
at
that.
Bonds. Salute you guys. Salute the mods. You guys rock. Well, I just got a quick, just a little telltale story about, since it's a Bible Thumper Wednesday, about my megachurch experience, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So I get invited to go. I've never been to this. I've only, maybe seen this church on TV, but I'm not going to name the docs the church or nothing. But anyhow, I was already suspect because I walked in with the Watchtower pamphlet, the Jehovah Witness.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with that.
And I had that, and I had my Mormon Bible. So you know where this is going.
How come you had those two things?
I just brought them. It's what I was carrying.
All right, so let's just keep going. We'll get back to that maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it'll explain
Well, anyhow,
itself.
yeah, I wasn't really paying attention. I was grabbing what I could grab, and I was trying to grab a Bible, but that ended up being like a Mormon Bible because I was very active a long time ago, but
I see.
Right now they they shun me right now because I drink coffee, but other than that.
I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that about you. Okay, now it makes sense.
Okay. Other than that, I'm invited to this mega church, and I go inside. So they see that, so I'm already suspect. They see all that stuff on me, and I'm kind of like trying to look around, and I see how the production's got everything set up, to where they get panned to people's faces in the crowd. And this is how the mega church goes. It's like they start out with a song, everybody's clapping, standing, the hallelujah thing, and then after that, the pastors come out, and it's actually a woman pastor, so... I'm kind of like making little snirks, whatever, and then after that they do another song, and then a man comes out and he starts preaching about saying everybody's a sinner, and I'm like, I heard enough. So it's like, I guess they're doing the broadcasting, and I got up, and the security people, they're trying to get me to stay seated, so I just got up and walked out. So it's like the broadcasting was ruined or something like that. And then when I tried to go back to see where, where my family was sitting, say, hey, I'm going to be waiting at the car. The security, basically, they kicked me out of the building. So, but I didn't make a big scene or nothing. I just left. But yeah, they're supposed to be open and forgiving, and that's how that church is. So just wanted to say that.
You brought your family to this church?
No, my family invited me. They're from
That's right.
Texas.
Okay, and not like a family you made. This is like brothers, sisters, mother, father.
Yeah, it's like a relative, a sibling.
Okay, gotcha. And so they invited you. Usually go to church with them and stuff.
Oh, I haven't been to their church ever. I was invited just one time, and then I asked to go the next time, and they were like, "Nope, you can't come."
Yeah, I noticed. I mean, I remember noticing that the judgment, to put it simply, of Christians even. Yeah, you said they looked at you funny, you coming in with the Watchtower thing and the. And I don't know, I might have looked at you funny too. I mean, it's just maybe a little. Right? It's definitely not a Bible, right? So you'd think when someone comes in with something else, like, do they want to fight? Do they want to argue? Right? Are they coming in with this idea, right? But I gathered the same thing. I saw that young, right? This judgment in the church. But
yeah.
I mean, then you grow up and you find this judgment. It's like everybody's so judgmental. I mean, you came in kind of all, didn't you kind of come in like that too about them? You're like, this mega church, I seen them on TV, da da da.
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't grab it intentionally.
And then you got up in the middle of the service.
Yes. I was
so you were already done. You were invited
that service
somewhere.
Was like 3 hours. Yeah, it was like 3 hours long.
Right, but you were invited somewhere. You're like, okay, family, let's do it. Let's do this Sunday thing together. You were invited somewhere, and then you kind of already had something about him, and then in the middle of it, you're like, yeah, I'm done, and then left. Wait, is that why you got up? I forget if that's why you said you got up.
No, they're like, it was some kind of preaching that was like, yeah, way, way off topic, and I was like, nah.
Right. So you had the same, they looked at you funny, you looked at them funny. It's a building full of devils.
I was like, well, I know about the mega churches now. I'm going to stay out of them.
Yeah, I remember going to one or two as a kid, and one was crazy. I'll never forget it. The production, they had like indoor fireworks. It was nuts. Or pyrotechnics. I don't know what it was.
They probably sold coffee there, just like the one I went to.
You said what?
They sold coffee and T-shirts like it was a freaking festival instead of being a church,
Hey, we selling coffee? What's wrong with selling coffee?
No, I mean during service, people were like drinking coffee, like buying T-shirts, and I'm like, couldn't just wait till after church.
What's wrong with selling coffee and T-shirts at church?
Yeah, but they should have it after the freaking
after the service
and stuff. Yeah.
But what if you have the iPad on you before the service starts, and the person's there, and it's just like, hey, let's just rock this right now and then get to the service.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got to pay the bills.
You got
somehow.
maybe a little bit of judgment for them, kind of how they maybe had for you. Do you see it that way?
Yes. I bow down. I kneel. See, I'm kneeling. I'm admitting I'm wrong.
No, and I don't want you to do that for me. It's just I just can't help but see this. I find it very funny. I find it very funny. And because think about it, you're supposed to. If I was invited, if like my family invited me, and I know that they're just Bible thumping Christians a little bit and silly, that's why I probably wouldn't go. But let's say they invited me and I said yes. Aren't we to be a perfect example everywhere we go? You know what I'm saying?
Huh? To be behaved.
You know what I mean? Like, because think about it like this. It has nothing to do with what they're preaching and all that. It has everything to do with how your behavior and what you agreed to do. An honorable person, we don't have to even throw God in there, a Christian. An honorable person would just go to it and say, hey, well, you invited me, and I'm not going to judge and get up in the middle of the thing.
Yeah. But the thing is, there were other people that left, too.
Right.
And then it was like...
But we're talking about you.
I was like, when I got up and left, it was like a big deal, but there were other people. You know how you leave to go to the bathroom?
Yeah. That's
exactly what people thought I was doing.
Oh, okay.
But it seemed like they looked at my books and they're like, "No, you're not coming back in." Because maybe that stuff got on the camera and they didn't want to see it, and they're like, "Oh,
well, you don't really know all that." But I got you, man. Fair enough. But I'm not really. What's the word I'm looking for here? I don't want to do an autopsy of this thing, right? But I found it funny. I couldn't help but mention it. Hey, that was your experience at the mega church, sir. Appreciate that, man. Anything else you want to say here?
All right. Yeah, just people. You guys need to watch Punchy TV.
Hey, thank you, man.
It's cooler. The moderations they're very lenient. You guys can get away with a lot more stuff.
I like talking with the guys. It's cool to have a bounce off and speak freely with these guys that I respect that also speak freely. So thanks for tuning in to Punchy TV. It's definitely fun.
Are you guys, everybody have a happy rest of your life?
We can barely hear you, but I can make out sort of what you're saying. You're saying Happy White History Month. So thanks, Christopher. Take care, man. Call me again.
All right. Take care, guys.
There you go. 888-775-3773. I want to get back to my calls. Looks like some interesting calls here. Amazing. But what else? Funny, quick little thing here. Let's just do Hulk Hogan really fast. Because upon some research, we were supposed, some fellas out there, Joey Swoll, they're doing research and they're finding out, hey, hold up. Let me type some things into the screen and then go into my head and flick a switch and go from, Hulk Hogan, yay, Hulk Hogan, nay. And that makes sense to you. That's a fine way of operating. In fact, you think you do that, right? Because you type something in, right? Think about it. You typed something into a screen. You press, right? But before even that, you saw somebody say something or read something that made you think something. You're like, okay, well, let me type this in. And then if it confirmed what you already thought, which is the easiest thing to do, by the way, folks. It's the easiest thing to do in the world to just confirm a bias and like confirm a fact or a little detail. And you type it in, you see it, confirm. You're a controlled person. You're not a free person. You don't have free will in that instance, in that way. And so people are researching. I want to do Hulk Hogan really quick. I did the same thing. I'm like, okay. And then I typed in, right, like a robot. But we're having space here, okay? And maybe I don't have space because maybe I'm biased the other way, right? I hear someone's a racist, and I'm like, oh, that's probably a good guy. That's probably a solid guy. That's probably an honest, solid guy. And I'm probably wrong for that. Because racist, look, the word is a made-up word. But and in the little heart muscle, in the little center of people, what's happening is that it either means two things. And we all know this. We all know this. Either you're like just saying like a fact that's true or something true that's not just simply a fact or it's just simply true, a true response or a fair reaction even. Or you're like really hateful. You're like really just mad and you're like, I hate blacks. Right? Everybody knows that that's just those two things. And that is why it really adds to this notion you've heard that is true, that racism is a made-up word meant to demonize normal interaction so that you could weaponize it against groups, against people in a conversation, politically, etc. That's what it is. It's what it's been. But at the core, when you're talking to maybe a Joey Swoll who's just like a regular guy, it's that. At the core, are you just like and to some people, that doesn't even exist. Oh, you could just say a fact. You could just say, well, I think blacks are this way, and it's just my opinion, and they're maybe not all like that, but it's just what I think. And you're saying, that can't be racist. Like, for some, that's like crazy, but whatever. I don't think that. But look, Hulk Hogan, I typed it in too, okay? I typed it into it. I'm like, okay, I found the racist thing, the so-called racist rant leaked tape from 2015. In 2007, a private sex tape was recorded, terrible, without Hogan's consent, leaked. And I don't know why it's connected here, but it's in this tape. He says included intense racial slurs, repeated use of the N-word, and expressions of prejudice regarding his daughter dating a black man. Hogan admitted to being racist to a point. That sounds like a reasonable guy. That sounds like someone who's not just like wide stroke of the brush, right? I mean, that's more than you could say for a lot of people. For like whatever. And then beyond that, I don't know what else is the big smoking gun. This tape, and then what else? Hogan built a persona filled with exaggerated claims, like wrestling 400 days in a year. Okay. Hogan faced backlash for backstage decisions, including undermining a wrestlers' union. Really? That's why he's going to have lasting hate? No, this is just a racist thing. So I can't find anything else. What's the big, terrible thing? I guess for some, it really is that terrible. But I found this clip, too. I was just, doing our research here. And you just can't hold the truth down. You just can't. When a man speaks clearly, with clarity, as I heard, it rings through time. It must, because here we are researching a man. Everybody's arriving to evil things, but this clip with Mike Tyson shines through. Talking about Hulk Hogan. Is he a racist? I found it just as fascinating and funny and all that. Let's watch this too. I think there's maybe a different angle and cut than what you saw on the Hake Report. I thought it was great. Then we'll get to calls after this, okay? 888-775-3773. Mike Tyson on Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk.
You know what? Let me just read what it says here. Do you think Hulk Hogan's a racist? Mike Tyson, quote, nobody said more disgusting, dreadful things about white people than me, and there's nothing about a racist in me. So.
Hulk.
You know what happened with Hulk, with the whole N-word situation?
All right, about the basketball player? Well, yeah, his daughter was and he went on a rant. He was mad.
And the video, it was a few months ago now. I know you know about it already, but yeah, him saying the N-word, saying really nasty, racist shit, and he's been completely banned from the WWE universe.
Oh no, not the universe!
Do you think Hulk's a racist?
I don't think he's a racist. Racist got to be like, I got to be like,
Hell, all those. I hope they all die. I don't want to have nothing. You know, I don't know. We all have
everybody knows the spirit he's referring to. I hope they die. Nothing. It's not even those words.
We all have a knack to say some ethnic
slurs.
Yeah, I like that word, slurs. I'm gonna say something. It's just that you just can't put. Listen, it's so simple to call somebody a racist now. It's just really simple. It's so easy. Listen, now no one said more disgusting, dreadful things about white people than me. And there's nothing about a racist in me. But then when we get in that dark side of our minds, that's the only thing we see, the bad side of our minds. So those are the words we say. We see Italian, fucking Italian mobster getting your this, your that. You see your fucking big, strong, black rapist nigga.
Damn, you went to rapist.
No, this is who we are.
You gotta get in there, man. I mean, these guys don't know themselves. These guys don't know themselves. He's like, whoa, you really went there.
Strong and black, you're a rapist. If you're a smart Jew boy, you're a tax cheat. If you're Italian with a beautiful suit and a nice house, you're a gangster. That's who we are.
So you don't.
That's who they said we are, and that's who we always gotta be to those people.
So you don't label someone a racist if they just have a moment like that. You don't think that's the be all end all.
I don't know. They could be a racist, but I know I had those moments and I'm not. This is what you have to know, and this is the real deal, and you know with yourself and everyone else. When we're in this big bubble here, we lose our rationality. You know, we become instinctive. We can get away with impunity. We're not under the same. You too. We're not under the same. We don't go by the same law that the rest of the people in the street go by. So we have to know that too. So who put that on us? That's the society that gave us that invisible shield that don't always help us, but to give us that false sense of security to say we could do what we want.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, it hurts us. It hurts us. It's not secure at all. It's desperate. And it's very evil, you know. I am kind of convinced. How do I put this? This cry of racism, etc. How do I put this? This notion that, you know what? Put it like this. It even has to do with like this low IQ thing. They'll say they're low IQ. Blacks are low IQ. That's why they're doing this. That's why they don't understand. They don't know. I don't believe it. I was hearing people, I just know anger is really evil, and I know that really makes you dumb, and whatever. I heard some things. I'm not denying IQ and all that. But I realized that these people aren't dumb. In this sense, in the following sense, that when I see videos, when I'm watching these cases of criminals and their family trying to defend them, these interviews out there, man, on the street, people saying they stole our history and the lies they believe. I realize when they say, when I get my callers calling me saying, oh, well, what about white people, etc., they know that blacks are wrong. They know. I've noticed an awareness of this, and it's really just evil. How do we avoid? Right? How do we hide this? How do we hide this evil? How do we minimize it? It's what a child does who's caught with, right? It's what a criminal or a child does when caught with the cookie jar. You understand? It's just lying. It's just evil lying, and I'm not personifying it with a will, like it's totally a choice. I'm not even going into that area. We are influenced, but they're not dumb. They're not dumb. People know what they're lying, even if the lie is dumb and not well thought out. Like, really, come on, just Google that, right? Just Google the black crime rate. They're not dumb in what they're doing, what they're trying to hide, and what they're trying to obfuscate. They're not dumb. It may not be sophisticated to you, but they're not dumb. Like, they're aware. I find that is the truth about evil and human nature. And that there's a stupidity to it, but it's not like, oh my gosh, it's just like this person doesn't even understand language. They're just like a tribe, or like, I don't know where to even go with that, but they're not dumb. Anyways, let me get to some calls here. 888-775-3773. What else about this? Let's get to Ardene, Colorado. Thank you, Ardene. You're on the air. Happy White History Month.
How you doing?
By the way.
Hi, Harry. How you doing today?
It's the last day of White History Month, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Well, happy White History Month.
Happy Human Being Month. I love it.
Today is Human Being Month?
Huh?
I ain't never heard of no Human
like
Being Month.
I like human beings.
Human Being Month is every month.
I know. Isn't it cool? I love it. I love it.
We're having
What I
White
wanted to
History Month.
talk
Human Being
about-
Month is every month. We're doing White History Month right now.
Well, you can convert White History Month to every month. That's so cool. Isn't that great?
Do you wish me a
I love
happy,
it.
Do you wish me a happy White History Month at least?
I wish you.
That
if
I
you
have
want
a
me to
happy
wish-
White
I
History
will
Month?
wish you. I wish you a happy White History Month. If you want it, you got it. Okay? That's
You
good.
rock, Ardene. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted two things. Two things I wanted to ask you. We were talking about this one person was bringing up religion. Jehovah Witness, in fact. I grew up till I was age 12, and then I became Catholic. What a switch. Whoa. And
You
it's
said
like,
you grew up Jehovah's Witness?
I would read Jehovah Witness. We had a Bible study in my grandmother's house when I was living with my grandmother, and she was Jehovah Witness.
I see.
And it's pretty intense. It's a pretty intense religion. And
In what way? Can you say quick? I'm not that familiar.
What?
You said it's intense. In what way?
Okay, they don't believe in celebrating holidays, i.e. Christmas, birthdays, anything like that. They don't really celebrate that. They firm believer in revelations, to where it scares the crap out of you as a child, because you see, you have the book, not the Watchtower book. That's actually a pamphlet that they give to you all the time. But it's a book that I had. It was an orange book, I remember, and it was Jehovah Witness, and it was basically what we read from. We didn't really read from the Bible, at least it's Bible study. It was reading from the Jehovah Witness book. And it would be like the earth opening up and people falling through crevices into hell, because there's
They don't put that in the pamphlet?
that are going. I don't know if
They
it's in
leave
the
that out of the
pamphlet.
pamphlet, I imagine.
Oh, I think it was the monthly thing that they got. I think that's what it was, Watchtower, if I remember right. My grandmother used to have a lot of them. But with the book, it was just a book that we read. You know, it was like the Missal, say, with the Catholic. And they read from that, and it scared you as a kid, because they were really strict with revelations a lot. And I remember when I did teaching in school, there's one child there, his parents were very strict Jehovah Witness people. When we would have Christmas celebrations, you know how we would have the generic Christmas celebrations, i.e. celebrating more Santa Claus. We didn't get into the religious part of it, more of the generic one, and more of the happy holidays one. And they would not celebrate it. We had to take him to a certain classroom where he would be alone, basically. All the children that didn't celebrate it, he was one of them that was there. And it was just sad seeing that. It was sad just having them not, because they understand the religion part, but ostracizing them and bringing them out of the group setting, it sort of hurts the kid a little. It did hurt him a little bit. And it was sad in a way. And like I remember,
And why did they do that again?
They think of Catholic, or they think
that's
of
right.
not Catholic. I'm sorry.
When you leave the religion.
Nothing was Catholic. They think of Christmas as a pagan holiday.
I see. And so you don't believe like they do, and it's like, bye, excommunicated, and it's like a shunning. Is that true?
They do shun, yeah. That's what I was going to get into. My grandmother, who died of leukemia, they also don't believe in blood transfusions. Now, this was in the 60s, 70s. Things could have gotten lighter with them. I'm not sure at this point. But I know they shunned her at her funeral because she took blood transfusions for her leukemia. And they shunned her. They did not show up to her funeral. And that's horrifying to do that to a human being. You know, last goodbye. They couldn't, and they claimed that she was her friend.
Why would you want all those people at your funeral anyways?
No, they should be honest. They should not have disrespected her like that. They should have done. You're right. It's bad. But I mean, for the survivors of my grandmother, like my grandfather, he was in tears because the women that came, he opened up his house to them for the reading, the Bible studies. He was hurt, desperately hurt, that they shunned his wife from the blood because she needed the blood transfusions for her life. It was leukemia. I mean, seriously. And it is a horrifying thing. And it's just sad that that's what's
sad
happening.
About it?
You say that they will turn their backs on a person that is trying to save their life with blood transfusions.
But what's sad about it?
The person is trying to save their life.
And
they're good, and they're friends with them. And they claim they love them, they claim everything, and and we are supposed to love our neighbor, and that means everybody. And basically, it hurt to the core that they claimed one day that they care for my grandmother, and then the next day that no, we don't like you anymore. You're out of here. Get out of here.
You didn't already know that?
Blood transfusion.
You didn't already know that?
I was a child. I didn't.
No, not you, but I guess someone in that situation like your grandmother. She didn't already know?
That they probably when you were faced, put yourself in that position. If you were faced with, if you don't do this, you will die. If you do this, you will possibly save your life. What do you do?
Well,
you have to have basically getting down to what's really important in life. And I think the idea of no blood transfusions basically is not that important to other people's lives as it is important to the person that is dying their life.
And what caused you to call in about this?
Well, just the fact that you're bringing up, and what I wanted to bring up was the fact that religions where Christianity, people are saying Christianity is dying per se, and it's not, it's being picked on. I think people are turned away from organized religions. I know I am. I still claim to be a Christian, but I am basically a non-denominational because I am tired. I'm 73 years of tired of the doctrines that the churches bring into their organized religions. And that's the thing where if you have, as what happened with the Jehovah Witness. Another example, I know I have a friend that is
But why would
Mennonite.
that cause you to turn? Oh, I guess you said that caused you to turn away from organized religion or whatever.
Yeah, because I believe in blood transfusions, first off. Second off, I believe in Christmas. Second off, I believe in birthdays.
There's
I
something
don't
about
believe
that, though. Isn't like the
hardcore
world
doctrine.
getting crazier, too? Don't you find the world getting crazier?
I think, yeah, definitely it's getting crazier. It's definitely getting crazier.
How do you square
And
that
people,
with everybody turning away from organized religion? Like I think
I'm-
I share some of your sentiments with organized religion, so to speak. But yet,
I believe in God. I believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in Jesus. I don't believe in the Jehovah Witness version of Jesus. I don't believe in the Catholic version of Jesus. I don't believe in the Mennonite version of Jesus. There's
so which
a lot
version of
versions
Jesus do you believe in?
Just me and Jesus.
Well, who's that?
That's it. Me. I'm here.
Yeah,
and
which
Jesus.
which Jesus is that? Can you tell me about it? Can you just told me you didn't believe in all the. I didn't know there were that many Jesuses. You told me you believe in the Jesus you believe in. Can you tell me about him? I guess. I mean, what is that?
The original Jesus.
Yeah, who's that?
The one that believed. The one that told us to follow the teachings of him. Follow that his two laws, basically. His laws to love God above and beyond everything. That's it. And to love the fellow man above everything. That's it. Treat him as your own, as yourself. That's it. That's all I believe in. And
so that's what it's like, and that's what it's like believing in that Jesus. It'd be living like that.
Yeah.
Do you live like that, Ardene?
I try to. Yeah.
How come we can't do it perfectly? I'll throw myself in there. Let's do a little. I don't know why. I don't think I even had to do that. We're talking about Ardene right now, right? How come you can't do that, Ardene?
How come I can't do that? Because I'm a human being and I have fault. That's why.
Yeah, I've heard that one too before. Not poo-pooing it too hard, but I've heard that one before too. I understand it somewhat.
I consider.
But what is that? Like
Well,
that doesn't make sense. I mean, we're supposed to be a Christian here. Like there's got to be a better answer than that.
What, that I
We're
fault?
just human. We're just human with fault. So we can't do what
I
Jesus
believe-
told us to do.
Okay, if you want to get down to what I actually believe.
Yeah,
I
just like what
believe
you think.
here-
I'm not looking for like the right answer theologically. I'm just like
No, I don't have the right
Ardene,
answer.
as a fellow,
first off.
as a person here who I too am seeking the same thing. What is the answer to that question?
My what works for me, the way I've justified everything in my own heart and mind, is basically I believe Earth, where we're at right now, is our training ground. Basically, it's like a high school for us. And when we finally reach the perfection that we should be at with the gifts that God has given us in our lives that we carry, we follow the gifts, we use our gifts in its potential. God gave us those gifts to do a deed here on earth, I feel. And if we do that, we will, in accordance with the teachings of God and Jesus, will proceed to a higher level, which hopefully is heaven. And I think hell is basically here on earth, basically. And we're in a training ground, basically, until we get our act right. We're a bunch of idiots sometimes, a lot of times.
Hell on earth.
90% of the time.
Yeah,
You got it.
Yeah, Jesse. I heard Jesse say that a lot. It's true,
Yeah,
huh?
and
We're getting quite an education
I-
from the JLP show. But yeah, right on, Ardene.
I like that idea. It justifies things in my own heart. And I don't like when it's, I mean, there's some things that I've heard, and I've gone to different denominations, churches over my years. And I don't like when they get in, first off, I don't like when they get into politics in church. There's a time and place. The church is not the time and place. Stay away from it. I don't like it. There's too many places where you could talk about politics. You don't have to bring it into a church environment. Church is there to talk about God with your fellow man, and that's not politics. I don't think God was a Republican or a Democrat. I really don't. And I think
So what are you now then?
independent.
What is it? I guess you
Me?
already said with
Me?
Jesus, you said who you believe in, and and you're trying your best to really do that. But we'll right on, Ardene. We learned a little bit about you. I think a lot of people are in the same position. But what can I say, Ardene? Anything else you want to say here on this fine last day of White History Month?
There was actually. Oh, I was going to ask you. When everybody's always talking about the American heritage. What is our American heritage? Explain it to me. What it is.
I gather it's deeply tied with Britain and Europe, but I mean I'm not sure what you're getting at exactly. But okay, American heritage. I'm thinking of the founders and who they were. Right? They were British statement at that time, and they came over. I mean, that's the heritage. We're talking about a largely I don't want to say things I don't understand. Largely Anglo-Saxon, European heritage that came to America. I mean, that's. I don't know. I bet you I could be a little bit more accurate, but I think I'm on the right track here.
So you're going for more racial distinctions as opposed to social interactions and social habits, social ways. That's what you're going for more? That's what you're saying for our heritage?
In my mind, yeah. In my mind, one came first, no? And you asked me a question about heritage. I'm thinking this word heritage. I'm thinking history. I'm thinking that. I could be wrong here, but I mean, it seems like a very clear question. I wouldn't understand the almost hemming and hawing about it. Like, do you mean, what else would you mean, right? We're talking about heritage. You were talking about, what else would you mean than what came first? The people that came first.
I think more social heritage.
And what does that mean?
More of that.
Help me understand what that means.
As an example, heritage, social.
Oh, before you answer, are we on the same page on heritage? Or you mean what are you saying by American heritage? Are we on the same page? Are you talking about the history of what is an American or who were the first Americans? Is that what we're on the same page on?
I'm looking at our culture, the way we are. What is the way we are? Explain to me.
So what is being passed on? Is that what you mean by American heritage?
Yeah. What do you take from our our society here in the United
Okay.
States.
I understand your question now.
What do
a
you
little
take
more.
from that? Say if you were explaining to somebody that came in from Mars.
Okay.
How would you explain our American heritage?
Yeah, okay, I'm understanding you a little bit better now. I think it's definitely it's definitely a little bit beyond race in that respect, but it is closely tied, I think, with the people if you wanted to accurately describe something, but it is at the core a spiritual thing, I think.
Spiritual? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and what I mean there specifically, I just mean the hard to tie, the immaterial things about a person, their personality, what they learned, what was passed down to them, and that's the heritage. At one point, maybe maybe this heritage was destined and meant for a certain bloodline, et cetera. And maybe now I'm just kind of speaking out loud, and maybe in time that changed, right? Because people came in, and so with those people, them existing is them passing on a heritage. So you can't do it's something you cannot deny. But and so yeah, those are the things I think of when you ask me about American heritage.
Because I'm going with like the melting pot philosophy, babe. I'm proud of the melting pot idea. I'm really proud of that one. That is a biggie to me as far as the Statue of Liberty. I look at it as heritage is basically, I love the idea of being in an environment where people bring in their own culture, their own ways about them, and we learn from them. We take what we can apply to our own lives, or we discount the ones that really don't work for us. But I think it adds, people bringing in their different cultures makes our life so rich here in the United States. Like Alvera Street as an example. Alvera Street as an example. Great place, right?
I'm not
Cinco de
familiar.
Mayo days, fantastic. Cinco de Mayo days, fantastic time. Okay, March 6th, 17th.
I'm not understanding what you're
Day.
saying. Apologies, Ardene. You're talking about an American heritage?
Yeah, our heritage is basically a melting pot heritage.
And what makes you say that?
We absorb other people, other nationalities, or other races.
Yeah, like recently.
Other races.
Yeah, sure, like recently.
And,
you mean like just recently, like the last bit, the last couple of years? Okay, maybe a little bit more than that.
No, I'd say probably about 200 years.
200 years.
I know my grandparents, they were at Ellis Island. They said I'm the third generation in from Ellis Island. So I'm thinking, and they brought their culture, their German culture. Now that's a good thing. For a while, he wasn't hired for a long while during the Second World War because he was German. Oh well, he was sort of unemployable then. My grandfather.
You can like that. You can say you like that and all that, but you're telling me that that's this American heritage. I mean, isn't that just like modern concept that came about later?
People bring in their
like
cultures
but that's fair. You can like it and all that. We can get into it. I'm just like stuck on like not the semantics, the syntax almost of your just structure of what you're saying. You're saying the heritage of America is a melting pot. You're just piecing together like words. Like melting pot is like came about way later. I mean, you could say you like it, but I don't think you could say that's American heritage. I mean, it's really just a lot of heritages. That's just like a bunch of heritages, not American heritage. That's just a bunch of heritages. And then you just saying melting pot as a word that you like, and then saying that's American heritage. I'm just stuck on that. So that just doesn't make sense. We can move on. I'm just saying what you're saying there does not make sense. That's just like a bunch of heritages, a bunch of different heritages. Well, maybe you like them and all that, but the fact remains there's just a bunch of different heritages in the same space, in the same area. And you could call it a melting pot.
Isn't that a great thing? Isn't that a great thing?
We could get to that, but you could call it a melting pot, but I don't even know if that's an apt description. Think about it. A melting pot, things melt. Things melt so that they become one thing. One like melted which is maybe made up of multiple things, but it melts and becomes one blob, one structure. You understand? Where it's hard to see, where it's difficult to see the many ingredients that went into this melted thing, right? That is not even an apt description of what you're talking about of America even now.
It depends.
When was it ever like that?
Strain.
It doesn't seem like it was this well-blended structure of a melting pot. It's just not even a good description. Think about it. Even the neighborhoods, if you look at America today, segregation, de facto segregation exists. People segregate by race, by class, whatever, money they have, etc.
Mm-hmm.
They segregate themselves. So I don't see this melting pot that you're describing.
No, really?
No. And then about it being good, I mean, tell me what's good about it. Can you tell me what's good about it?
I love the idea that there's people here with different cultural upbringing, to where you learn a lot. You learn. What's wrong with learning? That's the greatest thing in the world.
What's good about that?
To learn about different. What's not good about learning? Learning is fantastic.
But what's good
to learn,
about it?
not to get a.
You can learn all sorts of things.
Brain.
That doesn't mean anything. You get the most evil people in the world have learned many things, and they use that learning to do right. So I mean, tell me what's good about it.
You have a choice. You could do good by it, or you could do bad by it.
And I see a whole lot of bad by it. Tell me what's the good by it.
Nikola Tesla was pretty good with his learning. Yeah.
Oh, come on. Nikola Tesla is a far different immigrant melting pot ingredient than, let's say, Ilhan Omar and Omar Fateh. Come on, let's be real, Ardene.
What?
I'm talking about the different types of immigrants. You're saying Nikola Tesla, wow. And I don't know much about him. You're telling me he's part of this melting pot. He came into America. He was an immigrant, you're telling me?
Yeah.
Well, Nikola Tesla is very different than an Ilhan Omar.
Everybody's different.
Right.
Nikola Tesla
and that
brought in
matters.
his
Those
work.
details matter.
God gave Nikola Tesla brain cells.
Those details matter, and those details also mattered to the same melting pot America you're talking about. They made it very clear. They stipulated how they wanted white men to be the people coming in to become citizens of the country. That was explicit at one point. Did you know that?
Where? No, where did they say that?
One of the earliest immigration laws. Let me see if I can pull it up. In fact, one of the earliest immigration laws. Let me see if I can pull it up for you here, and then we got to move on. Hold on here. We got you, Ardene. It is called the Naturalization Act of 1790, 1776 to 1790, right? Pretty darn early. It limited naturalized U.S. citizenship to free white persons of good moral character. That was explicit.
Okay.
And you could do a little homework yourself there, Ardene, but that's just the truth.
Okay.
Aye.
So
what? You said it was a melting pot.
We are a melting pot.
You said it was a melting pot, and you said that the difference between Ilhan Omar and Nikola Tesla did not matter to you, but it did matter to these Americans that I'm telling you about. Happy White History Month.
It's sad.
What's sad?
It's sad that you can't see beyond the fact that what we have here is a good heritage. The fact that we could bring people with different cultures into an environment and have them try to work out a cohesive environment. That's the good thing.
Why do we have to do that?
We should do.
Why?
Why shouldn't we? Shouldn't we love our neighbors?
People well before you thought the same thing. It is not working. Maybe we should.
Should we try to make it work, though? If we have a world of peace, should we try? If we live in peace, shouldn't we try to make living peacefully with other people work?
No, because if you really wanted to be in peace and live in a world of peace, you would just be in that world of peace, and the people who are living in that peace would be peaceful and be all peaceful and do it up, okay? You don't need to try to do that and make it happen and all that. That's why it's not working. That's why, and because people who have to say it and do it all that way really don't understand it, want it, are too unsophisticated, degenerated, broken up from God. I don't know what it is to even get it. So, no, I'd have to say my instincts tell me no. You shouldn't go around trying to make peace with the world. You don't have to do that. You wouldn't have to. Think about it. A person that does that would just do it. They would just be living that world already.
if you're walking in peace, if there's enough people learning to walk in peace,
Just
we will
imagine
have a
this,
peaceful
Ardene. Imagine a
world.
group of people yelling at each other saying, let's be peaceful. It's like, just be peaceful. It's clearly that they don't want to. They want to fight. So we could leave it at that. Ardene, last thing you want to say on this fine White History Month? Last day of White History Month?
Have a great day.
Thank you,
Bye.
Ardene. Call me again.
Bye.
888-775-3773. How about we just fast style calls? Then we'll do super chats, more topics and all that. We got Alex, Tennessee. Sir, you're on the air.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
All is well, man.
Nice.
Happy White History.
Oh, yeah, happy White History.
Thank you.
Man, so I just realized something that, not just realized, but something I've been noticing a lot more is that the identification aspect of things is so important to understand, that people identify with things, whatever it is. It could be anything. And as soon as you identify with something, it's like you've agreed with something that's now living inside of you, and something of the world that's living inside of you, even if it's a misconception of spirituality or whatever, it lives inside of you, and that thing will fight for survival in all kinds of ways. And so I noticed that when that identity is threatened, whether it's this, for example, this guy who is, thought he was some kind of a fitness guru guy and an influencer, and he thinks of himself as a nice guy who's, welcomes everybody, and then he does this whole Hogan thing, and then all of a sudden, all these people are calling him this and calling him that, and he's afraid to lose that identity. Now that identity is fighting for survival, rather than lose the identity and just deal with what's true and what isn't true, what is and what isn't. It's kind of like how, God describes himself as I am that I am. It's just truth. There's nothing else to say about it. Or like the identities that black folks have picked up over the years that they have agreed with, and anything that threatens that identity is now something you must destroy in order to preserve that identity. And it's not them; it's this false image of who you think you are.
Whoa.
And it reminds me also of the globe Earth people and the flat Earth people. It's the same kind of thing, and in that most people have never seen the globe of the Earth with their own eyes, but they identify with it. They've decided to identify with that. And then when people identify with the flat thing, they identify with that, and then you feel the need to defend this thing that is hard to prove, hard to disprove, and because they put faith in other people and their expert opinions, their official proclamations about things. I think it's just interesting to consider that that's the darkness. Yeah. That's the darkness talking. When people are defending these identities, even the identities the ideas that Ardene has about what it is to be nice and to be American and all these things. These are things you pick up, and the violence that results is from that demon fighting for survival when it rubs against anything that contradicts its existence.
And if we only just didn't fight it.
Yeah.
Jesse was saying that earlier today. The I'm paraphrasing, but the cure to this pain, the cure to the pain is to put up no resistance when it's telling you, man, those people said this about you. Can you believe that they looked at you that way? Can you believe that these are your friends. How can they be thinking this about? They're thinking the wrong thing about you. Defend your reputation. Defend this. Defend that. And and if you just put up no resistance to that, and like didn't defend that, it just simply didn't. That's the hardest thing to do. We're so dumb. We're really so dumb, Alex. We're really so dumb. I'm sitting here in this chair doing this show, and I'm thinking about. I was just thinking about myself the other day. Maybe you shouldn't do that too much in a weird way, but put it like this. I'm like, well, living your own life, what does it mean? You know, if you're affected by words, you're not living your own life. But a caller can call me and say something and maybe like if I'm confused or something, cause me to sweat a little, just a little tiny bit. I'm thinking, that's normal. That can happen to anyone. No, that's you being destroyed by words. And if that's you, you're not living your own life.
Right. Especially if that's occurring, rather than see that as an opportunity to overcome an illusion, people defend the illusion. It's just, or rather, it's not them. It's that spirit that made a home in them. And what do? They go on the attack, and so really the only thing that's really happening there is that darkness is trying to jump part of itself out of that person and into the person they're attacking. And it's trying to spawn into that person. Oh, yeah.
Symbiote style, propagate itself.
Yeah. And that's why. So when that demon starts to come out of somebody else and it starts attacking you for telling them the truth, because what it's doing is it's trying to find something that it can awaken in you to latch onto and grow. And so now, let's say you, quote unquote, win that fight against this person. Well, now you've got an identity. Look what I did. I did this. I won this fight against this person. When in reality, all you've done is pick up a piece of their demon now, and it's in you.
Something to think about, man. Something to think about.
It's interesting to see that, because it's like, I noticed that in myself when these things happen. I'm like, man, this is this dark spirit in them trying to have a baby in me, you know?
Whoa. Yeah.
It was so crazy. Yeah.
Freaky stuff.
And real quick, I wanted to mention about the flat earth thing.
Sure.
I think it's interesting to me that whenever you go on the internet and you see certain things that come up, certain disclaimers or notices like, this has been thoroughly debunked. You know, there's always these things that will pop up when you look up certain subject matter on the internet. And to me, anytime you get this official word has to be disclaimed about something because this is the official narrative that you know is not is approved by whoever has decided these things. Like, if this is just a dumb idea, why is it such an effort to squash it? If it's just an idiotic thing, I mean, there's idiotic things that are put on the internet all the time.
That's right.
I mean, like, and nobody seems to. There's no disclaimers when some dude claims to be a chick when he's clearly not a chick.
That's right.
Like, where's the disclaimer there? I mean, that's about as simple as it gets.
It should be the easiest defense to all that.
Well, yeah. How come there's no disclaimer on that, but there's disclaimers on all these other subjects that are taboo? I just don't. I mean, to me, it seems it's highly suspicious.
Yeah.
And if anything, it kind of makes it even more interesting.
Pushes people that way. Out. Absolutely. It absolutely does push people towards that. And if it's this should be the easiest, most defensible thing. It's dumb, silly, untrue idea. Let's just put it out in the open. People will see that it's silly, dumb, and untrue.
And how come certain things that nurture a lower state of consciousness, a more animal state of consciousness, no matter how stupid, are very readily propagated with no resistance whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then there's
We're
other
smart
things that are like, no,
creatures, right?
don't look at this. Yeah, I mean,
we're high
that's,
IQ, smart. We're the smartest on the planet, right? Like,
yeah, if we're supposedly free, you know what I mean?
Right.
To have these discussions about whatever, then why don't we behave that way?
Fascinating, man. Something to think about, Alex. Last thing you want to say here on this fine White History Month Thursday?
No, I wish you well, man. I appreciate you guys.
Call me again, sir.
All right, bye.
888-775-3773. We're going to get right back to calls here. Okay. Unk. They call him an unk. Okay. That's something that they use. You may be familiar with the term. It means uncle. It doesn't necessarily have to be your blood uncle, though. You see, many a man can be an unk. You understand? You may be able to exhibit unk-like qualities, even if you are not a proverbial unk or in the age range of the unk demographic. But that's enough about analyzing unk. I'm talking about Shannon Sharpe, and he's an individual who was he a former football player, and he'd be all over that ESPN show. You've seen him around. He comments on sports, okay? And he's just, I don't know, something about him is just funny to me. It's not even like anything he says. Maybe it's kind of the way he speaks. It's really the whole personality, but it's just the like sharp. He's like he's literally sharp. He's literally sharp. Like he's just like, if you turn the sharpness up, if I had like a sharpness filter, if I added like a sharpness filter on him, and just like, I don't know what it is. It's just funny. It's just like a lot of the guy. It's just like intense. Just like, it's just funny. I don't know what it is. Why that's funny to me. And maybe a little bit how he dresses too. But I don't know much about him. I just know that he's been accused about some dirty things. And I know that they do that to men with money and all that. And I don't know the deets, okay? It's allegedly some OnlyFans model. And they settled. So it didn't turn into anything. 50 million? Settled? What? Wait, what? That is a payout and a half. I mean, that's one way to make money. Not that I don't. This woman was seeking $50 million in damages. I don't know how much she got actually. The reports suggest the final payout may have been around $10 million or more to settle this Nevada civil lawsuit. Reached a confidential settlement. Yep. ESPN. And so it's a dirty world, and I don't know what the details are. I personally, you know me, it's the easiest thing, actually, to go after men in that way. So, but I'm not sitting here doing this defense thing either. I just don't know the details. I don't care. Because this is actually what I wanted to say. Besides him being kind of funny, I mean, Sharpe, Shannon Sharpe. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at this lady here. We're going to be careful with the scrolling. We're going to be careful with exactly what we show here. So-called OF model. Okay. Maybe, can we do one more scroll? Okay. Can we do what? We're kind of risking it here. Can we do one more? Okay. That's a little too far. Go back up. Mr. Shannon Sharpe here. Put it like this. On this last White History Month, on this last day of White History Month, it's a funny thing to maybe bring up marriage and dating, because there are ways to avoid these pitfalls, sir. And I know that maybe you weren't thinking of such things. You were just thinking of cake. And look, yams maybe. You were thinking about food. And listen, Shannon Sharpe, there are ways to maybe avoid such pitfalls, because, you know, not everybody marries and dates in the same way as let's say, for example, this demographic, a black, successful individual, money, former, former sports pro. You know, they seem to mess around with a certain type of woman, okay? And they're usually posed up like this, where if we scroll, okay, we can't go too far, you know, you're going to have a problem. And it's like, man, you got to wonder, what, you know, it's wrong what the women do. Maybe this is a Me Too thing as well. Like, let me just get some money. This was all consensual up until she didn't say so. And I just don't know the details. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like that. But, sir, I have to say, if you maybe took an example of how other cultures maybe order themselves, it's a funny thing. You know, you hear about marriage rates. You're like, the marriage rates, the divorce rates are high. They're really high. And they're just terrible. They're really bad. And I gather the home has changed a lot. It's quite weak. The men aren't there. And a weak man and a dominating woman in a home is an abomination. Jesse Lee Peterson, quoting him. And we see that all over. Even the white families, I've seen it everywhere. I see it everywhere. No one's exempt. That being said, you hear about the marriage rates. It's kind of interesting to break it down by race demographically on these divorce rates. As of 2022, about 17% of ever married white women, which is a term I never heard about, were currently separated or divorced, the second lowest share among major racial ethnic groups. Roughly 36% of white men and 38% of white women will divorce over the course of their lives. That's Goldberg-Jones Divorce for Men. Black Americans have the highest share currently separated and divorced. Hispanic and Asian Americans generally have lower divorce rates than whites, with Asians exhibiting the lowest rates. Imagine that. Divorce rates rose sharply for black women starting around the 1970s, peaked in the early 2010s, then began to decline slightly. For white women, the rise was more gradual and has largely plateaued over the last few decades. So, that's interesting, you know? You know, you hear about the divorce rates. They've actually largely, the white divorce rate has not swung as dramatically as it has for other groups. And, you know, I bet you that speaks to something. It speaks to how you raise people and all that. That's why race is an interesting thing. For like shallow people, they'll think I'm thinking maybe of just skin color, but I'm thinking of how people order themselves and how ways of raising children is spread across like populations in a culture, because it's informed by like a culture, which isn't a country, started by people originally. Things may change, but that's why those things are interesting. And there's something about what they're passing along here where they haven't had dramatic swings in their divorce rates, and they're not as, if you look at the, let's see here, where do I have that? The divorce rates are high thing comes from the general trend across the entire population. Is simply all I'm trying to say. But anyways, funny little thing here, maybe White History Month, Shannon Sharpe. Maybe you could learn something here. You don't mess around with all that. You might get burned, right? You're messing with fire. Might get burned. It still can be wrong. Shouldn't have to happen. And the female-centered world is kind of allowing it. That's all wrong, but also I found that interesting, right? These marriage by race, divorce. Let's get to a caller here. Appreciate my calls here. Thank you. 888-775-3773. We got Marcus, first-time caller out of L.A. Appreciate your call. Marcus, you're on the air. Hey, Marcus. We got Marcus going once, going twice. Hey, Marcus, can you hear me? All right, man, call me back. Or you know what? Derek, how about you check on Marcus there, first-time caller. I want to hear from him. Jamie, Georgia, you're on the air.
What's going on there, Nick? How you doing?
All is well. Jamie, how you been? Happy White History Month.
That's right, White History Month, man. Best month that we have all year long.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. It's the last day of it.
That's true.
I was calling to see who do you think is going to be the first arrest out of all this stuff going on with the collusion and the treason with Hillary Clinton and the FBI and Russia paying for that hoax against Trump, who do you think is going to be the first arrest?
I have to admit that I'm so unfamiliar with this because I really just started getting into all this during Trump's first term, and I'm just somewhat familiar with what you're talking about. So I can't say with any certainty who. And I gotta say, this is purely instinctual and not based on fact. I could be very ignorant here. I get this impression that I don't know if much will happen. I really don't know, man. Can you maybe inform me a bit? So I know about Russia and like they're doing this thing, and I'm somewhat familiar with how they tapped Trump, and that was at the behest of like an agency, and then there was a FISA warrant on that. So I'm somewhat familiar with that. But you're telling me, Jamie, you believe? How about this? Tell me who you believe will go to jail.
I think it'll be Obama will be the first one arrested, and it'll. This is going back to the Q post where it said the first arrest will show the direction that it's going in. I think Obama will be the first one arrested because he was sitting in the office. If you go back and listen to Trump when he was debating Biden, he said you and Obama was in the room when they were talking about this stuff. So Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid for the dossier, the Steele dossier that said Trump was colluding with Russia. They paid for it. They passed it on. They give it to somebody named no name, which was John McCain. McCain walked it over, and they give it to the FBI. They knew that this stuff was fake before they ever started the investigation on Trump. They knowingly went after Trump, knowing that this stuff was fake. It's treason, it's sedition, and if we had justice in this country, we would have military tribunals televised, and these people would be executed when they're found guilty.
Oh,
all of this stuff is coming out. They just talking about. Grassley was talking about, or Bongino said he found a bunch of stuff in burn bags, a bunch more information on this stuff, and that just got released today.
I saw something about these burn bags, but
yeah, the burn bag where they were colluding and talking about this. That's where they went to the FISA courts, and they lied to the FISA courts about they had, probable cause to go out, and they started spying on Trump. Trump told you in the first thing. He said they spied on my campaign. Admiral Rogers went to Trump and told him, said, hey, they're spying on you. Trump moved out of the Trump Tower, moved his operation when he was running the first time out of the Trump Tower. He went to Bedminster when they were spying. He said, I'm being wiretapped. And everybody laughed and said, wiretapping? That's what it used to be called, wiretapping, when they were spying on people.
That's right.
Our government is so corrupt, man. If something ain't done to these people, our country is shot. Now, guess who runs all of them?
Who?
AIPAC.
AIPAC runs all of them?
AIPAC runs every one of I would say 95% of our Congress and senators are run by AIPAC. Every one of them's got a little AIPAC handler. You'll see them when they're out there lying to us. There's a little guy standing off to the side. That's their AIPAC handler, making sure they don't tell the truth, because the majority of
95%, really?
Yeah, I would say 95% of them.
I keep seeing all these posts on X of people who are not AIPAC, who have like $0 from AIPAC, and I feel like I've seen far too many of those. I don't know who it is, but I just see the posts go by. I don't even know these senators. I don't know these people. The posts go by, but I'm just saying. I've seen a few go. I feel like I've seen too many go by where it can't be 95%.
Only one I've seen on there is I can't think of his name right now. He's a congressman, Massey.
Thomas Massey.
Massey's the only one I've seen that don't have any money coming in from AIPAC.
Okay.
They need to cut that crap out so we don't have a foreign country influencing our government. Stop sending aid over there to Israel. They're killing kids. I see videos of it every day on X, showing them killing babies. You're telling me that this is all going on from October the 7th? This war's been going on for damn near 2 years, and y'all got 1,400 people killed. How many Palestinians have been killed? All of them people wasn't Hamas. All of those people that are dead wasn't Hamas, and these babies that I see that are people are carrying them, their lifeless bodies. I don't think they was ever Hamas, but I can understand where Hamas comes from. If that's the way you treat people, I can understand how Hamas come about.
You understand Hamas?
I understand how. Look, if I said that earlier on my show today, if that was going on here in America,
You understand Hamas? You said you get them. What is it you get?
I understand where they're coming from, why they're
Like
fighting
what?
against Israel.
Yeah, but what is it you get? What part of that is that you get and you understand?
What do you mean? I'm trying to explain to you. If
Yeah.
somebody was attacking America, if somebody was raining bombs on America, I would be out there fighting against people that are killing my country. Now tell me why we went why we bombed Iran. I thought y'all were going after Hamas. Why are y'all over in Iran bombing them? Y'all just taking Israel's over there taking land. It's called the synagogue of Satan. It's called the
taking
synagogue
it
of
because
Satan.
they can.
What do you mean because they can? I thought they was doing it.
Land
What
and
did
power
Iran
goes
do?
to who deserves
What
it.
did Iran do? Did
Land,
Iran
and,
bomb
land
our-
and power goes to who deserves it, who could keep it, who can make an area stable. That's just how it goes.
Well, the only reason they're doing it is because
And
they
the
got
rest
the
are
backing
just
of America.
and the rest
They
and the
have
rest and the rest are just terrorists.
Well, they have our military backing. The only reason why Israel's doing what they're doing, because if we would pull our funding from them, and that's what I say, pull the funding from everybody.
And
We're
so
not going to supply you
so
with
how
anything.
positive are you of an Obama arrest?
I'm pretty if things go, if justice is upheld the way it should be upheld, Obama should be the first one arrested, and then they should
And
arrest Clapper, Comey.
what would happen if should Obama not get arrested? What would happen? What would you think? What would Jamie do?
What would I do? This country's shot. We're through with. I'm gonna just get right with the Lord. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get right with the Lord.
Would you vote a third Trump term? Should Obama not go to jail?
No,
And why not?
because he ain't doing what should be done.
I see. So Obama not in jail, you would equal not a third term for you.
Not a third term for him. Hell no. You had 2 terms, and you need to tell Pam Bondi to get off her ass and start arresting people.
Are you streaming right now?
Yeah, I'm streaming right now.
Oh, okay. Well, Jamie, take
But
care, man. Appreciate your call, man. I don't realize that they're like trying to promote their show and stuff. And I don't know if I had to hang up on him like that. I'm not taking it personally. It just seemed like the right thing to do there. Maybe I didn't have to hang up on him like that, but people are just trying to do their show. They're just trying to do their show. You think they're just calling you. It's not even that. It's not even like I care. It's just like a policy thing. Like we just don't operate like that. We simply don't operate like that. And Jamie, pretty sure he knows. But anyways, and we got through what we had to say. But I don't realize people are trying to promote their shows here. So anyways, moving on here. Moving on. In fact, we got to go. Last few minutes here. Let me check something here because we got a man on the street for all of you. And I want to make sure that goes smoothly. So I'm going to be leaving here in a few minutes because at 1 p.m. in 10 minutes, 1 p.m. Pacific time, the Jesse Lee Peterson YouTube channel will be premiering. Jesse out there on Hollywood Boulevard talking to the folks about White History Month. I think you guys are going to love it. Let me remind you, though, if you want to see the uncensored version, make sure you watch today's premiere on punchy.tv/JLP if you'd rather that. My viewers here getting a little bit of that sneak or getting a little bit of that that information that's happening. So you get a little bit of a sneak of you know what I'm talking about? Like a alternative link here for my viewers here. Guys get to see the uncensored version. So punchy.tv/JLP for the uncensored version. You already see the premiere scheduled on the Jesse Lee Peterson YouTube channel. Amazing stuff, okay? Don't miss it. It's going to be great. What else here? Amazing. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Because that's it from me. All right. Thanks, everybody. Let's see here. Thanks, viewers. Thanks for my members here on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Make sure you support the show, okay? Like, subscribe, leave a like, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Say hello in the chat, don't be rude. Leave a comment. You know, you're so many of you watching here, and you won't give the Anchor Baby a little like. Click the like button. And besides that, you know, appreciate all my supporters. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. And that's it from me. Take care. See you tomorrow. And you know what? Enjoy the last day of your Happy White History Month. See you over at the JLP chat for the Man on the Street. All right, y'all? Take care. Peace.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.